So a few of you might know that a few weeks ago I was labeled as YouTube's creator on the rise. Big thing, got me a lot of traffic. Here's the overview of what it did to my channel. What's your minimum specification? So for those that don't know, Creator on the Rise is this YouTube thing where they highlight one creator a day that's up and coming, that's had a run of good content and is worth promoting to the wider audience. They also have a music creator on the rise and another couple of ones that they do, but the big one is just Creator on the Rise. It's designed for entry-level channels to promote their work to a wider audience. I didn't really know what the hell it was until I got this message on my email. And it's simply saying, hey, TechTechPotato, you're the next creator on the rise. We'll let you know as soon as you hit the Explore tab where you'll be featured for 24 hours. Now, if you don't know what the Explore tab is, if you go to your YouTube homepage, on your mobile, Explore will be on one of the buttons at the bottom. On the web page, it will be one of the buttons to the left. If you click Explore, you'll see something a little like this. Trending page, Explore page. You'll have a few videos that are doing really well for the day. And then at the bottom here, I guess I'm in the way, so TechTechPotato, Creator on the Rise, and I got this little blue thing alongside my name here, and it showed off 5 of my good videos. Now, why was I picked for Creator on the Rise? I have no idea. I got that message through email, I don't know, about 24 hours before it happened. And in the list here, it showed my 5 videos, and 3 of which did really well. In the previous weeks before that, as I'm sure regular viewers will know, I had this IBM video talking about their 2nm processor. That did really well. That got picked up by a lot of external press organizations and got linked around. On the back of that, I did a video about why processors are square and wafers are circular. That was, kind of in response to the questions that we got on the IBM video. Then I also did the Cerebrus wafer scale video as well. That got north of 80,000 views quite quickly. And ultimately, this is kind of what it did to my stats. So you can clearly see the 24 hours earmarked for this data. And it says, top videos it's the IBM video, it's the Y processor square video, and then AMD to spend $4 billion video. So 154,000 views over 48 hours. Most of that was in that big chunk where I was getting about 5,000 an hour, which for a channel for my size, even though it's growing, is really quite a lot. And the big thing what it does here is because you're on that Explore page, it opens up your impressions. So here you can see impressions are fairly low most of the time, but on that one day, 11.5 million. And then the next day was about 2 million. And then, after the third day, it was back to normal. Knock on with that is, this is the impressions click-through rate. So this is the rate at which somebody clicks your video if they see it. Normally I hover, around 5%, just a bit under 5%. That's pretty average, I think, for a YouTube channel my size. The thing is, with the Creator on the Rise, which is the day after the number here, went down to below 1%. It was about 0.6%. So your click-through rate is low, but your impressions rate is super high. And the idea is that hopefully, that transforms into subs. In terms of actual views for the day, I actually got my number 1 day, 104,000. And you can see here to the left, between about May 6th and May 10th, in this sort of May 6th, May 10th area, this is where my videos were doing really well. This is the IBM video that I put out. This is the processors are square, wafers are circular video. So there I was getting a few days, essentially almost hitting 80,000 views, coming down, and then Creator on the Rise hit a day of 100,000, and that still remains my best day to date. And then, you know, views for the month actually topped 1 million for the first time, which is quite nice. Here's what it did to my subscriber count. So it didn't really do that much. When I learned I was Creator on the Rise, I reached out to a few fellow YouTubers who had been around a bit longer than me, and one of them had said that he had been Creator on the Rise, again on the back of a couple, 2-3 really good videos. He said he got about 10,000 subscribers as a result of his Creator on the Rise. Mine is a lot less. Yeah, you see here 1,700, and then a few more the next day, total around about 2,000. But it was actually my videos that did more for me than Creator on the Rise. These metrics are a little bit skewed as well. I got name checked on Linus's WAN show, which usually brings an influx of at least a couple thousand people, which is always fun to have. It just so happened to occur on this day where we had that nice little disagreement about DDR memory and how to represent it. But I tried to keep the momentum going with Creator on the Rise with a few more videos. Unfortunately, that was the time that I also went on holiday, which wasn't ideal, and I didn't have anything planned. But we're back up to normal, and because the channel has grown from 20,000 to 40,000. We're getting a better influx of people than it was previously. If we look at the left-hand side of this graph, subscribers going up slowly, and then now that we're double the size, it's kind of like this, accelerating runaway effect. Although, in order to have this sort of growth again, I'm going to have to do a couple of good videos on that side. So the one other thing here is average view duration. This varies depending on whether my videos are 10 minutes or 20 minutes, or sometimes I do live streams that are a couple of hours. But it's been a steady sort of, 6 minutes 30 over the last few months. Except for my Creator on the Rise day, I went down to 2 minutes and 9 seconds. So average view duration was down a good 60-70% despite the views being up. So overall watch hours wasn't anything spectacular. It was actually just seemed more like an above average day, but nothing really that big. So if YouTube's algorithm is doing any sort of calculations based on watch time, then Creator on the Rise doesn't really do anything for you there. Creator on the Rise experience, it was weird. I don't go to the Explore page that much, and I suspect not a lot of other people do as well. I mean, 11.9 million people clearly did, and it was worth them to go to it. But other than that, I don't think I've really ever been on the Explore page. Another caveat as well is somehow I was Creator on the Rise in the US. They do for some different regions like the UK and Germany, I think, and maybe Australia as well. They have their own different creators on the Rise for those particular days. But US is biggest market, and looking at my readership, at least 30% of the viewers, you guys, come from the US. Please comment down below if you don't come from the US and you come from somewhere special. Be interesting to see how many comments we get from, say, Poland, China, Papua New Guinea, Kenya, Korea, North Korea. No, but I felt it was a good experience. But nobody from YouTube came out and said, "Hey, you're doing great." It was just an email. It happened. I don't know whether somebody put my name forward. I don't know whether it's algorithmically generated. No real insight here until actually after the fact, and you can look back on the data. And it just goes to show that somewhere like YouTube, this is Creator on the Rise is great for exposure, but the real benefit is actually having the content to go with it. And I was actually quite surprised that the IBM video took off the way it did, especially given that I was a few hours late from the announcement. I'd already done the article on Antech, and this was kind of like post after the fact, but I seem to have been in every other YouTube to the punch when talking about it, which is quite fun. Now, recently, TSMC and a paper with MIT started talking about 2D transistors, and that got picked up in the press as 1 nanometer transistors, which isn't technically correct. I've kind of read through the paper, and I want to go through with it through the paper in a future video. That'd be interesting. But whereas IBM actually had, you know, a pseudo 2 nanometer equivalent transistor, what TSMC is doing is not 1 nanometer transistors. It's on the way, but it's not quite there, and I kind of want to go through that. That would be an interesting video. Please let me know if you do see some interesting research papers kind of like that that you want me to go through. I really diving deep into the research, the science that goes on behind everything that we do. So I know this is a little bit of a different video for me. I just kind of wanted to reflect on this experience that I'm having, that you all are, this journey that you all are coming with me on. It's really great fun, and long may it continue. If you're noticing that the video quality is better, I replaced my USB 2 HDMI capture with an Elgato cam link. This isn't an ad, but I hope the 4K-ness is coming through. Ooh.